All right, welcome to another episode of the Xevi Had a Problem podcast. Shout out to my sister Menda / producer. She's going to be joining us on this journey. Shout out to all of you guys for tuning into the podcast. We're on Apple Music. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on anywhere they show a podcast. Blah, blah, blah. Let's just jump straight to it. Okay, let me start by saying this. I finally saw that video of Justin Bieber saying, I'm clocking to you, I'm clocking on. What did he say, Amanda?
It wasn't that.
What did he say again? He said, I'm clocking on business. I'm clocking to you, I'm standing on the, what?
Please, hold on.
Go ahead, please, go ahead.
It's not clocking to you that I'm standing.
It's not clocking to you that, regardless, it don't make sense. But he said, I'm not clocking to you, I'm standing on business. Now, he was saying this to a paparazzi person.
I believe they're called paparazzo.
They're called paparazzo. That's why that sounded weird. I said he was doing it to a paparazzi. He was doing a paparazzo. Please look that up to be completely sure. But we're gonna call it paparazzo. So he's saying this to a paparazzo, right? And the video actually goes on to say a lot more things.
Yeah,
Justin, it's paparazzo. First of all, it's actually a little weird that you knew that. That's a random fact.
I don't know why I knew that, but paparazzi is
the singular version. I be trying to figure out what you be looking at in your Google thing. Like your Google must be tougher than our Google, because I feel like there's simple questions like singular, plural, and you're just like staring. You're like,
well, because this is weird.
What did it say?
Paparazzi, singular form paparazzi. I was reading it too fast. I got confused.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so Justin Bieber is saying you're not clocking on the clocking on to a paparazzo, right? Or a paparazzo person. And Justin goes on to say a lot more things. He's saying, look, y'all following me around, y'all taking videos of me, and all y'all are going to do is post this and say I'm doing bad things. I'm a bad person. When I love my wife, I just be chilling, trying to stay out the way. And I said, damn, this video was a lot deeper than I thought it'd be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it got me thinking about paparazzo in general, right?
No, it's paparazzi now. Paparazzo is singular.
Paparazzo is singular? Oh, I've been mixing that up the whole time. No, oh, you're right, because he said it to a paparazzo.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said, so what am I talking
about? It got you thinking about paparazzi.
Yes. That's crazy that you remembered that. Wow, we usually both don't remember things.
It was 3 seconds ago.
That's true. Okay, so he said he got me thinking. What?
You used up your one free card. I don't know.
He got me thinking about. Regardless, okay, he's talking about paparazzi. It had me thinking about paparazzi, and how back in the day they used to be a really big thing. It used to be like a lucrative career. Like them folks used to make cash. And this is back in the unk and the auntie time. Shout out my sister Menda.
Unnecessary, but
okay. Shout out to my sister. So this is before social media was massive. So we would all get our news from like a few select places. Our news, our media, our tabloid stuff from select news sources like TMZ. TMZ used to be huge.
This was before we were the paparazzi.
What you mean by we were the paparazzi?
So nowadays, like anybody can take a picture of any celebrity, post it on Instagram, social media, and it will go viral.
Oh,
and you don't need to be paid. But before, there were only specific places that we.
Wait, hold on. We're not going to ride by that. You said something deep right there. We are the paparazzi. That's pretty deep. We're the paparazzi now. So the paparazzi who have it for a job are kind of out of a job.
I mean, they still are here and there, but for the most part, print media has been on a huge decline. There were only very specific places that we could even see celebrities, right? It was magazines.
Can I pause you again real quick for a second? Because when you say print media, I've never quite known. That doesn't have to exactly be like newspaper, like print. That could just be on TV and all that. Does that count as print media?
No.
Oh, print media is literally on like paper?
Print, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Please carry
magazines.
on. Please carry on.
Yeah.
I beg.
So there are only specific places that we could actually consume what celebrities were doing. And it was like magazines, sometimes websites and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And because only select few media outlets dominated the circuit, there was no like counters to what they were saying. Like we had to basically take what these news media outlets said as law. And the thing is, most of it, like Justin Bieber said, would be negative. You're just gonna say I'm doing bad things. They talk about celebrities saying this celebrity's doing these wild things and all that, because that was a headline. Those are the only headlines you can get. So
yeah, and the paparazzi's job was to antagonize these celebrities.
Was to antagonize, exactly. Take pictures right in front of their face. Hopefully, celebrities start throwing hands. They got a news story right there, right? And a lawsuit. All that to say, when I started making videos, when I started doing research on celebrities, doing research on stories, it shocked me how different the actual story was to the story we usually got from news outlets. Like, mind blowing. And we're going to get into a couple of examples in a moment, but it had me thinking of Elon Musk. Because growing up, I thought Elon Musk was basically Iron Man. Like, he was in the lab. Like, he's the one who got down and dirty, and he's the one who made the Teslas with his own two hands. Genius, right? And that's what we were getting. That was the story that we were getting on news outlets, on news media.
I mean, even in movies and TV shows, that's how they would portray him. He'd make cameos as like this real life Iron Man.
Taking us to the moon, you know. Elon is taking us to the future, all that. So people thought, yo, Elon Musk, he's that guy. Growing up, you come to find out,
he's simply a fool.
What? Boy, I tell you what, that shocked me growing up. I said, what? That boy he wasn't down and dirty making the Teslas. Hell no. That boy probably don't know the inside from the outside of a Tesla. And it's crazy because the further back you go, like the less media outlets out there, the worse I feel like it gets. It had me thinking of the story I did about a boxer. Menda, do me a favor, look up the name of the boxer real quick. He was he got by the mob. Sonny Liston. That was really quick. Sonny Liston. Now, the actual cause of him getting was an overdose, but his family and his friends said, yo, they knew Sonny, he never did drugs. Like, he never did any of that stuff. People believed it though at the time because Sonny Liston was seen as just a bad guy. And that's what news outlets would, promote him as. He is a terrible, terrible dude. They called him like a beast or something like that. Like, that was a tagline. They called him a beast. The police would follow him around everywhere he went because they thought, oh man, it's only a matter of time before he does something crazy. Y'all see how he boxes in the ring? He's a beast. Okay.
Just so you guys know, there's a famous picture of Muhammad Ali standing over that boxer. That's Sonny Liston.
Yeah, exactly. That is Sonny Liston, where he's saying get up. He's saying get up. Don't take their money, because Muhammad Ali knew Sonny Liston, who he was dealing with. He was dealing with the mob, and he started dealing with the mob intensely. Like, he was already dealing with the mob, like when he first started his career, but he started as a bodyguard specifically. But he started dealing with them a lot more when he started getting all of the bad media attention. So he basically said, okay, everybody thinks I'm this terrible dude. Everybody thinks I'm this beast. I might as well become it. And it's actually really sad, because when you actually do research and you actually see what Sonny Liston was all about, because tagline, I thought going to the story, I'm going to see, okay, Sonny Liston got by the mob. He was doing crazy things. I start going deep in the story and I find out Sonny Liston, his life's goal was to help kids. He grew up in a terrible environment and he grew up really poor. So what he wanted to do was he wanted to show kids that even somebody from his background can become champion of the world. And him seeing the narrative flip, him seeing the narrative of news outlets really, really crushed him. I'm gonna pop up some pictures, but you can see him super, super depressed. After he won a world title, when he came home, he thought the streets were going to be flooded, everybody cheering him on, because that's what usually happens when a boxer wins. Or at least back then, when a boxer won a title. He came home and nobody was there to greet him. Nobody. And he was crushed because he realized, wow, they really do think I'm an evil human being, and all I want to do is help kids out. That's crazy. He's talking. It's really sad. And he's talking to police at one point. They have him talking to police. I think it was a video recording, but he's saying, yo, y'all following me around. I'm just trying to get some food. Like, come on. Like, just leave me be. I'm just chilling. I'm not doing anything. And police are just watching him like hawks. Like, okay, it's only a matter of time.
It's interesting that there was no needle marks found on his arm.
Well, there you go. There was no needle marks found in his arm. Again, family and friends said, nah, he never did that stuff.
He was terrified of needles.
He was terrified of needles. If you get to know him a little more, turns out he's a really gentle, pretty chill dude who just wanted to help kids out. So, but nobody cared. Nobody really cared because all they saw was, okay, Sonny Liston. Oh yeah, he's that bad dude who worked for the mob and all that, right? That's it. That's all people needed to hear. They said, okay, so he had an overdose. Yeah, that makes sense. Move on to the next thing, And let's get to the main story. Actually, because what I wanted to talk about specifically, a big one, the biggest shock to me in terms of story was Michael Jackson. Now, as many of you may know, Michael Jackson was alleged to have been inappropriate with, right? And growing up, I never quite believed it. And I felt like I was the only person, aside from my sister, who didn't really believe it.
Actually, it was a majority of black people.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. But going to school, at least from my experience, you would hear folks saying, oh, Michael Jackson did this, Michael Jackson did that. News media, the main story is, Michael Jackson was inappropriate, Michael Jackson did this, Michael Jackson did that. But again, I didn't quite believe it as a kid because, the media, tabloids, all that. I was always a little skeptical, but I had no idea how right I was as a kid because I do a story recently about Michael Jackson and the allegations. And I'm deep dive researching into this. And Menda, oh my God, this is shocking. Okay. Mm. It turns out it was considered a media circus. Okay. Because the media's portrayal of the events were drastically different from what actually happened.
Even in movies and TV shows, they make jokes about it.
Yeah, so it's just what people in the cultural space think. And even to this day, videos I see about Michael Jackson that will pop up on my timeline, this and that, you see a comment saying, okay, but Michael Jackson did this, Michael Jackson. You see a lot of comments. I'm like, wow, people still believe that to this day because people don't know what happened. And we're going to get into what happened in a second.
Yeah, it was just common, especially I think at that young age, like even like Eminem, like with his music videos, poking fun at it.
Yeah.
So it just became normal.
Yeah. So it's just a normal thought like people had. Whether people believed it, whether people didn't believe it, it was just a thing that was in the space. Michael Jackson did this. Okay. But the actual reality is very quick trial. They said, okay, Michael Jackson didn't do it. Moving on.
It was a criminal trial, right?
No. I believe
the first one.
Okay, so there was a few trials, okay, and we're going to get into that in a second. But first trial that happened was from a family called the Chandler family, okay? Now, to keep things brief, 3 members of the family, dad, mom, son, okay? Michael Jackson is going to rent a car. He happens to meet this Chandler family. He strikes up a bond with the son. The dad says, yo, Michael Jackson talking to my son, all that, that's a little weird. Okay, fine. Sure. If he thinks that's weird, absolutely fair. Okay. Now, out of nowhere, Dad Chandler says, Michael Jackson is being inappropriate towards my son. I'm suing Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson says, okay, bring it on. I didn't do anything at all. Now, the son then comes out and says, my dad is right. My dad is correct. Michael Jackson was wilding. Now, for this trial specifically, I'm not going to get too into it because I want to get to the second trial. But for this trial specifically, there was no evidence of Michael Jackson doing any wrongdoing. The FBI looks into it and they didn't find anything. And as you're going to see when we start getting into the second trial, the Chandler family, the family involved in this, really seemed regretful of bringing up this trial towards Michael Jackson. Now, Michael Jackson pays the Chandler family $23 million.
Jesus Christ.
$23 million, right? And he did this because he had a tour coming up. And his team comes up to him and says, look, Michael, you rich. Pay the settlement. Do not get into this whole long legal battle. It's the longer it goes, the worse you're looking. You're going to lose more money in the long run. In fact, they had to cancel his tour. And that's hundreds of millions, you know. So they're like, you might as well just pay the family. We make money by doing another tour. Michael says, all right, fine. He says he regrets this decision to not fight the case because moving on to the second trial. The second trial was brought up by the Arvizo family. Now, this trial was the popular one. This is the trial that was all over the news outlets, going wild, going crazy, right? And it started because the Arvizo family, we're going to call it Mom and Son Arvizo to keep it simple, okay? Mom Arvizo says, hey, my son has cancer, and what he really wants to do is meet Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is all about the kids. So Michael Jackson says, yeah, absolutely. I would love to meet your son. Chris Tucker goes over to Michael Jackson before Michael Jackson meets the Arvizo family. Chris Tucker says, yo, this family, really shifty, really shady. They said they wanted to meet me before. I didn't like how they were moving. So Michael Jackson says, okay, gotcha. Chris Tucker, fun fact, Michael Jackson were very, very close friends. So Michael Jackson, very suspicious of the family, but they pull up and they seem really nice, really chill. They hang out with Michael. Everybody has a super good time. Enter this dude named Martin. He's a film creator. He says, Michael, I want to make a little documentary about you hanging out at your crib, like what it's like and all that. Michael says, for sure, come through. Martin goes over and he starts asking Michael about kids. He says, you know, Michael, you really love kids, all that. Michael says, yeah, I love kids. Like, they sleep in my room. Like, they be chilling, having a great time. Martin says, they sleep in your room? Michael says, yeah. They come through, sleep in my room. Like, no big deal. That's where the documentary cuts off. Michael then says right after that, but it's no big deal. Like, I be sleeping on the floor. I have adults there. Like, it's nothing like too crazy. Martin cuts that part out of the documentary. He releases the documentary. Michael saying, yeah, I sleep with the kids. Like, I be sleeping and they be sharing rooms with me. It's a great time, right? So everyone around the world start going, yo, what's up with Michael? He had an allegation in the 90s. He paid $23 million to those folks. Now he's still sleeping in the same room with kids. What's going on with Michael? So people start getting a little sus of Michael Jackson. So Michael Jackson does the interview saying, yo, no. He took that out of context. The video creator took that out of context. Like, I be sleeping in the same room with them, but like, you know, we just be hanging out. Like, they be in the bed. Like, I be sleeping on the floor. All good. People said, nah, Michael, you weird. Okay. But the interesting thing is, before the Arvizo family decided to attack, they were in the documentary. And they were singing Michael's praises. They said, yo, Michael's a great dude. He's actually really, really nice. So it seemed like, let's go back a little bit. It seemed like the Arvizo family wanted to hang out with Michael for shady reasons. See if they can get cash from him, saying the kid had cancer, all that. They hang out with Michael, see that he's actually a pretty chill dude. They just go home. The documentary comes out and Arvizo family jumps in to defend him. They say, no. Michael Jackson, really chill dude, really chill guy. The police go over to the Arvizo family. They say, are you sure he's really chill? Because people are really sussing Michael. We're looking into it and all that. Arvizo's family said, we was there at his crib. He was really chill. Y'all better leave him alone. The police said the last family who sued him got $23 million. Arvizo family said, okay, so Michael Jackson did this, that, and the third.
Oh, get a job.
Lock him up. The Arvizo family flips instantly. Now, this trial was a criminal trial by the police. They needed the Arvizo family's help. So basically it goes, okay, police say, Arvizo family, you guys give us the details. You guys testify in trial that Michael Jackson did this, that, and the third. We lock Michael Jackson up, and that's going to make it easier for you to sue Michael Jackson and get your settlement, basically, okay?
Get a job.
Woo, Lord, they trying to make that cash. Son Arvizo comes out and says, yo, Michael Jackson did this, that, and the third. Michael Jackson said, oh, word? This time we going to trial for real. Michael Jackson said he completely regrets paying the settlement. For the first trial, he said never again. Second trial, yeah, you're going to have to prove that. But the police were on his ass. The police were on Michael Jackson's ass because how the media was portraying it so far. Okay, Michael Jackson, he had these first allegations. Now these second allegations coming out. The police are like, okay, we need a conviction. The public wants a conviction. We need a conviction. FBI does their own research on the side. They say, okay, Michael Jackson It really seemed like he's not doing anything. It really seems like they're trying to get money from him. The police look at the FBI. They said, no, chill. We got this. We got this one. Now, real quick, let's go back to the first trial real quick. The Chandler family, okay? After they won their lawsuit, the police came over to the Chandler family. They said, okay, now we want to open a criminal trial against Michael Jackson. You guys got a settlement for your civil trial for suing Michael Jackson. The police said, now we want to do a criminal trial. The Chandler family said, boy, leave us alone. Michael Jackson actually pretty chill. We're not helping y'all out. They got their money. They dipped.
They are in Dubai.
They are in Dubai. They left. But separately, because the son Chandler, emancipates himself from the family. People speculate that since the dad probably forced him to say what he said about Michael, he emancipates himself from the family. He like, I don't want nothing to do with y'all. We'll talk about Dad Chandler and Mom Chandler in a second. But jumping back to the second trial, to the Arvizo family. You keeping up so far? Amanda, make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
I just hate the story, so I'm like, oh.
Okay. So the police bring Michael Jackson in, and the media is going crazy. Michael Jackson arrested for this, that, and that. Michael Jackson arrested, inappropriate, this, that. It is blowing up. But then the trial actually starts, and the police have no evidence. They pretty much only have the Arvizo family. So they said, okay, Arbizos, y'all got to make this look real good. They said, we got you. Right?
Y'all want to make it work?
We got you. Right? The mom goes up. She says, look, let me keep it simple for y'all. Michael Jackson kept us in his house and he didn't let us leave for months. And remember, kids, if you're going to tell a big lie, you might want to have all your facts straight, okay? Maybe keep your lies really soft. My sister taught me that a long time ago growing up. If you're going to lie,
keep them small with a little bit of truth.
Keep them small with a little bit of truth, okay? She said, Michael Jackson kept me and my family in the crib for months. Michael Jackson's lawyer said, okay, this is an easy one. They said, so you said months from about January to August? She said, that sounds about right. Yeah. They said, okay, so it says here in July, you went to the store. February, you got your car fixed. March, you got your nails done. When were you in the house? She said, let me see that transcript. I said, that's right here. Here are the receipts and all that. She said,
What did you not have?
She said, okay. Nah, ain't no way. I was shocked reading this. I had to triple check this. I said, ain't no way. They caught her in a straight up lie. No recourse, nothing to say. She just said, oh, well, damn.
Fair enough.
That's fair. Y'all got me on that one. Right? And I said, okay, hold on. Let me just keep going in. They must have some sort of details here. There must be some leg of truth, because I'm thinking how the media is covering this. This must be debatable. This conversation must be debatable. Like, they go over to the son Arvizo. They said, Michael Jackson did all those things. He said, yes, Michael Jackson did. I was at his crib. When my mom said I was at the crib, they said, son, we're asking you. He said, he was basically looking at his mom for answers, all that. His story was very, very, very inconsistent throughout the trial. He kept screwing up what sounded like a story that was given to him. But we'll put that to the side again for now. Let's go back again.
I know the mom was irritated.
No, she was pissed. I bet she was pissed. Let's go back again to the first family, the Chandler family, because they wanted to bring them in for this second trial. The son said, I'm not testifying against Michael Jackson. They said, we need you to do it by force. He fled the country. He said, I'm gone. Y'all not going to make me testify, right? The dad said, no, I got my cash. I'm good. The mom pulls up. They thought they had a star witness. The prosecution said, okay, cool. They got the money from Michael. She about to snitch him out. The prosecution brings her up. They sit her down. They said, Michael Jackson did all them things to your son, the Chandler son, right? She said, no. Shocked the courtroom. She said, no, I don't think he did. I think he was just chilling. I don't think he did all that. Can I go? The prosecution said, oh, yes.
Sure.
She leaves. Celebrities pull up. Chris Tucker says that story I said in the beginning. He said, yeah, I went to Michael Jackson. I told him, do not mess with the Arbizo family. They seemed like they was trying to extort me for cash. Jay Leno pulls up. He says, yeah, they were saying the same thing to me as well. George Lopez pulls up. You know, he's a comedian. He says, boy, how long had that kid had cancer?
Dang.
He said they said they done said they had cancer. Can I get some money over and over and over again? The Arbizo family, their friends pull up, snitch them out. Matter of fact, it's her coworkers, the Mama Arbizo's coworkers. They pull up. They said, yeah, she just snitched herself out. We was in the water cooler chilling. She said, yeah, man, I be telling all these celebrities my son got cancer, and he does have cancer.
Oh, yeah, that's plot twist.
Turns out he does have cancer, but his cancer treatments are paid for completely by insurance. Now, this is what she said. She said her son had cancer and they're paid for by insurance, but she was scamming people. But I do believe he did have cancer, but it was it was in remission and he was chilling. Now, regardless, celebrities didn't know it was in remission, didn't know it was paid for, so it's pretty much a scam. Now, all this to say, it's pretty cut and dry that the family seems to be extorting Michael Jackson, right? Well, that's the same thing the jury thought. They walked in, they walked out. They said, not guilty. Media says, facts. Media said, well, they said not to guilty. Well, guilty in the word not guilty. So what if we just, they spun it. They said, yo, Michael Jackson, we're not going to say he guilty, not guilty, but we just going to say that trial was pretty crazy, huh? Michael Jackson, y'all might want to still watch out for him. They did not cover the facts at all. They did not say what happened during the trial because that would have, made it look like Michael Jackson's innocent and the story's gone.
That didn't sell papers.
That don't sell papers. Yeah, the story's gone. They needed to milk this for as much as possible. And this seemed to shock Michael Jackson. He seemed like a dude who actually just wanted to see the good in the world. That's what I think personally. Doing all this research, for the story, I thought anybody, all I needed to hear personally was somebody sit in front of a camera and say, yeah, I sleep in the same room as kids. I just needed to hear that. Because I feel like somebody who can openly say that to a documentary, to a camera, and is okay with the world hearing that, thinks that the world will understand what he understands, right? Macaulay Culkin said it himself. Macaulay Culkin and Michael Jackson were close. Macaulay Culkin himself, during an interview, it was with, what's his name? What's that dude who be having that raspy voice? And he older. He looked old for years. He looked old for decades. Matter of fact, he had glasses. Oh, Larry King.
Oh, I was thinking the Terminator for some reason.
Terminator?
I don't know.
All right, let's just move on before we get sidetracked. Larry King is interviewing Macaulay Culkin. He says, you and Michael was close ever since you was a kid. Macaulay, was Michael ever inappropriate? Macaulay says, boy, if you don't, I hate that question. Larry King said, chill, little bro, chill. Macaulay Culkin says he gets asked that question so often. He says, look, Michael Jackson was super chill. Really cool dude. Just gave him advice. They hung out. He said Michael Jackson was basically a child at heart. He was very innocent. And he said, too innocent for the world, it seems. Mm-hmm. Because he said innocent to a point of, I might be adding this word to naivety. Innocent to a point of thinking that you can say certain things, but the real world is going to, demolish you for saying that. Okay. So yeah, anybody again who goes over to a documentary and says that openly, I feel like is just a dude who really thinks the world is going to take him at face value.
Yeah, you can hear in his music too. He can be very innocent. There's a song where he's literally, because Peter Pan was one of his favorite characters.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so he just didn't want to ever grow up because did he have a childhood? No, he didn't have a childhood.
Oh, I see. That's very interesting. Well, speaking of Neverland, right? Neverland Ranch was the name of his home, and he never went back. After that trial, he never stepped foot in Neverland Ranch again. He felt it was tainted. And after Michael passed, shortly after, the Chandler dad, he himself. I don't know if those two instances are related, but people speculate that they are, because Michael Jackson, for those that don't know, passed from an overdose. And it seemed like a lot of things in his life really, really pushed him towards the path of drugs. Maybe Chandler dad felt pretty guilty and but yeah, man, all this to say, again, it shocked me when I went deeper into the story. It really dawned on me that, wow, the media would really just spin a story, and that's what we see and that's what we believe. It's crazy. It makes me feel
just
like
saying anything.
They just be saying anything. It makes me feel like I gotta go back and go back through the catalogs of my mind, figure out every single story that I've ever been told by the news. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not only the Michael Jackson story. That's just the most shocking to me, how different it was than how the media portrayed it. But it's many stories that I'm doing stuff on. I'm thinking, okay, I know details about the story, but let me just double check that. And it turns out it's something completely different. It's crazy, crazy stuff. But yeah, man, all that to say, we'll just end it there. We'll end it right there. Be careful what you read. Be careful what you watch.
I mean, that's not even just media. It's literally just history, like the stuff that we're taught in schools. Like,
yeah, it's a lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things. I
think being an adult is taking the responsibility of like relearning and unlearning patterns, societal biases, like everything.
Dude, so. You know what twisted me up? Also, finding out this is a huge thing in science. For those that don't know, bio, right? I'm technically a biologist, right? I got a degree in bio. Technically. But dude, it turns out I'm looking through all these studies I'm reading and all that. Those headline studies you see, so this and that might cause cancer. You go a little deeper into the study and they're saying, okay, it really doesn't cause cancer. We was capping. No, I'm saying, like, they basically saying that they list out the research and they're like, oh man, you know what? We said that because there is a 0.0002% this thing causes cancer, and
there's a link.
That person might have had cancer before this, but they put the headline as this and that might cause cancer, and they do this to get their publications out there as well. They do this for cash too. A lot of scientists do this for cash too, because the headlines matter, right?
That's how they get the grants.
That's how they get their stuff. That's how they get the grants to get their name out there and all that. That's why you see news outlets say, scientists say, or this study shows. Yeah, that scientist is just doing a headline. It's just clickbait. He's going to give you the actual details in the article. Hopefully, most of the time, scientists at least have that integrity where they'll list it all out to you. They'll give you the overview. And the more you read, the more you'll see the narrative shifting. The overview will start with, yeah, like I said, this causes cancer, kind of. And let's go into what I studied. And it turns out that all these people didn't have cancer. And I was capping a little bit. Only one person had cancer. They had it beforehand. Their family has a history of cancer. The end.
Well, at least they had the modicum of shame in the end.
It's wild.
That's crazy.
At the very least, I guess it's just the way the world runs at this point. All right.
Capitalism is the root of all evil.
Capitalism is. Ooh, you know what? That quote I was about to say actually has nothing to do with this, but it's so good, and I feel like I have to say it now.
All right, let's hear it.
So I'm just gonna say it. There's a book by the name of The Way of Kings. Brandon Sanderson, one of my favorite authors, and he says the best thing. I'm gonna butcher the hell out of this. I already know that. The best thing a human can do at this point, basically, is let me start over, and I'm gonna keep all this in there because I totally already butchered that.
Yeah, I'm a little lost.
He was like, okay, what do you think is the best like human trait to have? He's like, is it being smart? Is it being strong?
Wait,
is
who's saying this? The author or a character?
No, it's a character in the thing. The author's technically saying it through the character, okay? The author's technically saying it through a character. He's like, what do you think the best things, a human can have? Is it speed? Is it brains? Is it strength? And, another character is answering the question and all that. And the character says, it's timeliness. He's like, if you do it first, then that's how you basically become famous.
Oh, right.
Yeah, if you do it first, because somebody can make a Picasso, but the forger who makes the exact same replica will get shamed. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the Picasso is what costs millions of dollars. The forger $0, but it's the exact same painting, right?
Who discovered it first? Who did it first?
Who did it first, right? The first person to rap like, the Migos were the Migos, right? People start copying that style. They say, man, you just copying the Migos. But damn, that person might be just as good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's timeliness. It don't matter how fast you can go, how fast you can rap. It don't matter if you can dunk, 360 dunk. Nah. Michael already did that. You just copying him, right?
A 360 dunk?
I think Michael Jackson. Did I say Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan?
I don't even know anymore.
You know what? That being said,
Yeah.
we'll just end it there.
I remember that song Jam. He was playing with Michael Jordan in
oh yeah, that was
basketball.
dope. I used to love that as a kid. Michael Jackson versus Michael Jordan.
They were making music back then.
Damn. Hey, you know what's crazy? Like even as a kid, I'm watching. I said, "Damn, Michael! Like we need to get them dribble skills up." Like you know what I'm saying? I know he'd be in the lab singing and all that, but come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like he dribbling like one of them 5-year-olds that was like. I said, "Nah, you gotta." You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, shout out my boy Mike.
This is random, but you know the movie Space Jam? I genuinely believe with all my heart that Michael Jordan was singing I Believe I Can Fly.
Oh, yeah. We both thought that when we was kids.
It just made sense.
We thought, there's a song called I Believe I Can Fly.
I believe I can fly.
Yeah, that's playing through Space Jam, right? It's like the soundtrack. It's like the main like song from the soundtrack of Space Jam. And when we was kids, we said, damn, Michael could sing. Michael Jordan could sing.
He's very talented.
Our dad told us, hey, let me sit y'all down. Michael Jordan not singing that. It's a guy named R. Kelly. We said, get a little of this guy.
Who's that?
we said get a little of this guy like Pops. So I thought Pops was lying. I thought he was wrong. I thought he was just straight up wrong. You know what I'm saying? We said, what is so obviously Michael Jordan singing that stupid? Like, why would this soundtrack? Anyway. Shout out to Pops. You were right. Yes. And again, for the third time, we're going to end it here. So see y'all.
See you later, guys.